With so many people working from home, we find ourselves in challenging situations. How do we get in touch with these prospects? How do we consistently reach out to them? What are some ways that we can grab their attention? And what about people who are reaching out to us when we're not in the office? How can we make sure we don't miss great opportunities? On today's episode, we're going to talk about that. My friend Maddy's going to lay out what you can do, you or your team, to find success and not getting too burnt out and going for the right activities and the right strategies. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast here on TSE TV on YouTube. I am your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have our good friend, Maddy Martin. Maddy is the head of growth at a company called Smith.ai. She's going to tell you about the company at the very end of our episode, but you get an idea. They help with giving you added resources so your team can be more effective when it comes to setting appointments, getting in contact with the right people, or people reaching out to you. We are busy and we're all over the place. Why not work smarter and not work harder? You're going to hear that in our discussion. We're going to talk about some ways when it comes to specifically you working from home, how you can be more productive, and then also prospects. When you're reaching out to those prospects, how can we ensure that we get in touch with the right people or get in touch with them at all, considering the fact that so many people are working from home? Let's go ahead and dive into the episode. Welcome to the show, Maddy.
Thanks, Donald. It's great to be here.
Of course. I'm sorry about that there, everyone. I just made your ears go crazy with my mic. But of course, we're excited to have you. You can tell how excited I am. I'm hitting my mic and running all over the place. Because this topic is near and dear to my heart. I love prospecting. I mean, literally, even as the business owner, and we have a team of 10, 11 individuals, I still make sure I do prospecting every single day. And this is one of those things that we've discussed internally as a team. So, and we get it from others as well. So we figured to make a great podcast episode to talk about it. Most people are working from home. How do we go about doing that? So I want to pick your brain for all the goodness you have there, Maddy, today.
I'll try in 20 minutes to give you as much as I can.
Well, let's dive right into it about it. Do you see this as well when you're talking to folks about this impact of so many people working from home, trying to schedule appointments?
There is a massive impact. I think the first thing is, are you missing calls, website chats, messages? And then the next step logically is, what are you going to do with those leads who are coming through that you spent so much money and time and energy to come through? Like whether it's an advertising campaign or it's referral networking that you've built up, you know that every single call or chat is precious. And what you do on that first conversation is the most critical step, because we know that 49% of people don't answer their return calls or incoming calls to their phone. So it's really critical that you actually accept that first incoming call or chat and you do something then, and you don't take a message, because the time that you're going to take to follow up and try and get back in touch with them, no matter if you send up a bat signal, it's not going to work. They're not going to respond if you don't take the opportunity that they first present to you, right? So what happens when you get that inbound call, let's say, you've already hopefully set up routing to a receptionist service or to you at your remote, work place that you've set up at your home office, and various other home offices that people on your team have. The next step is getting that appointment scheduled, because we know also there's this debate between profit and productivity. Do you interrupt your day for every inbound new lead? Maybe they haven't been screened. Maybe they're the best potential client. Who knows? You pick up the phone and it's sort of like Russian roulette. Are they going to be the next best client, or are they going to be someone who's just kicking tires and wasting your time? So screening and then scheduling is the most important workflow that you can do to say, you know what, I've asked the right questions, maybe 3 or 5 questions to determine if this person is a right fit for my business. And then I'm going to lock it in by scheduling them for a time on my calendar to have a conversation, because I don't need to be available every second of the day, but I need to be open to have those appointments scheduled so I can prepare properly, because sales is all about preparedness. And then you've got that system that allows you to work and it allows you to bring in new business for future work. The core here, Donald, is not picking up that call or chat or even answering that text message yourself. Let people do that for you, like our receptionist at Smith.ai, and then you will just watch your calendar fill up with appointments of qualified leads, and that's where you need to focus your time. We can't sell your business as well as you can. We can't walk people through to the point they're ready to sign an agreement or buy your product. That's where you need to focus your energy.
So there's so much in that. I mean, I think there's the first piece here, the whole idea of productivity versus profit, which is one aspect of things. And then the other side of that is where you're saying here, like focus on the things that matter most right now. And I'm a big believer in that. I think sometimes as organizations, we tend to, especially during this challenging time that many of us are still facing, especially in 2021, most people thought COVID was just going to disappear, but it's still here. Look at that. But you can't, everyone is looking for ways that they can make sure they're focusing and having a deeper impact on revenue. And if it makes sense to make the investment and have somebody else take care of some of the minute things to help you to focus on the bigger deals, then do it, because I've seen that make a huge difference for our organization, focusing on things that matter the most. Even like you're saying, we're talking about trying to get with people who are, hard to get a hold of right now to schedule those appointments. Can I have somebody else do that task, even if it's more challenging, and then give me the opportunity to focus on the things that will.
It's funny. It's less challenging, Donald, and it's actually an insanely small investment, if you even want to call it that, because I'm not like a short trader, but I normally think of investments as things of, a little bit long term. And who wants to think about long-term things right now during COVID, during a pandemic? Looks like we're in it for the next few months, right? Who knows how long? Plus, there's a recovery period. Plus, what if we like the way that things are actually working and it's more efficient, I'm more productive, I don't have the distractions? Why do we necessarily need to go back to the way things were, right? But when we look at calendaring solutions, Calendly, Acuity, Schedule Once, all of these solutions are available for a few bucks a month. It is going to cost you nothing for one calendar on one of these platforms, and a few dollars, maybe $25 a month at the most, for a small business who's got multiple people, multiple calendars on these solutions. Receptionist service, add up maybe couple hundred bucks a month if you're a small business. Maybe it's more, but guess what? Those clients more than pay for that cost of that service if your volume is high, right? So what you end up getting is not having to go and hire new staff, which is another time delay. It's going to be another few months if you do it properly. You get a plug and play solution that comes with a manager of it, because guess what? When you hire one staff member who's going to be sitting on the front lines and scheduling for you, you have to fill up all the, sort of free time that they're inevitably going to have between calls. And B, if you've got someone who can do other work besides that, they're probably a specialist, a technician, a marketer, a system operations person. If you're in a law firm, a paralegal, right? Like someone who's a specialist that you should be training and developing on your team. These skills on the front lines should not be things that you have to day-to-day manage, let alone day-to-day do. So a solution could come with that person who's going to manage it for you. So that's also off your plate.
Yeah, 100% on that. And I think this is fantastic, especially when it comes to that inbound side. What about when you're trying to get, like, say, I'm trying to get a hold of Maddy. If I'm trying to reach out to you, any tips or ideas you give for that, like doing the outbound aspect?
Right. So we actually at Smith.ai can make outbound calls to prospecting lists that you have. Our rule right now is that we're not going to reach out to someone who's bound to, hard hang up on us, right? Like our receptionists are used to having like conversations and not just dialing. Now, what that means is that you want to, and this is better for your bottom line anyway, make sure you have a quality lead list to begin with, right? You know your target audience, you know your ICP, your ideal client profile. You've got that honed in, and then the list you give to us to make those outbound calls, flows very similarly to how an inbound call would go. You want to have control, you want to have an outcome in mind, and you want to make sure that the assumptions you made about that person are validated by their answers. Are you currently looking for X, Y, or Z service or product? Are you in the market right now? What's the readiness level? And then steering that conversation to the next ideal step, which is typically scheduling a conversation for a demo, consult, etc.
Do you find, like, with people who are working remotely, because this is my assumption with it that we are seeing internally as well, is that, and what I've been telling people is that there's still folks who have voice over IP phones. It's not like the
Oh
old
yeah.
days. That office phone will get routed to someone. But
Yep.
let's say that it's not. Any other, what are some of the ways that you all are getting in touch with folks? Is that just through email or social or any other
So we
strategy?
don't currently do email, we do social in the form of Facebook Messenger. But what we see is that people are coming through to the business clients that we work with by phone, by website chat, by text, and by Facebook Messenger, right? And that's a vast majority. You might get a little bit of noise on Instagram. You might get a DM on Twitter, if anyone DMs on Twitter anymore. LinkedIn, maybe, but that's probably a very good prospect and you know what to do with them. Now you can, if you get emails, forward them to Smith.ai for callbacks. And follow up with that lead. For example, if people are filling out your website form, instead of chatting in or sending an email, maybe that's triggered by that form, you can have those form fills sent to Smith.ai and we'll make that outbound call back. Now, the emphasis that I want to put here on this part of the conversation is on 24/7. So we talked about COVID, we talked about remote work. The issue, if you don't consider the life experience that your clients and customers are going through right now, is that you're going to limit your hours to the standard working hours that you'd have. So let's say you're normally answering 9 to 5. If you're in the office, you're really good about it. Now you're working from home and you're thinking, well, I'll try and be as responsive as I can. If you put yourself in the client's shoes, what you experience is a 24/7 sort of customer life cycle that used to be normal daytime Monday through Friday hours. For example, childcare, kids are getting taken care of during the day. Elderly, maybe they move back in or you're going to the nursing home or assisted living facility. You are, if you're this customer, dealing with at least one, if not two generations that now you're helping out, in addition to trying to do whatever you do for work. And this is your ideal client that I'm talking about, right? So when do these customers have time to reach out to the businesses that's you, right? Your ideal clients are busy as heck during the day. And they, after dinner, before work, on the weekends, are going to get in touch with the other companies that they're looking to hire or buy from. You need to be able to respond after hours, traditionally what we would call after hours. Those are normal working hours right now. And that is the biggest difference that we see in not just forwarding your calls, but making sure that your systems accommodate more of a longer workday, so to speak.
I find it very fascinating you say that. And I work, my business allows me to, the most of the time with remotely. And we do have an office and we have our sales team. But when you're running the organization, like there are different things that you're doing throughout the day, like or the maximum effort things. And I have my executive assistant, but what I still find is that I'm doing what you're saying, like in the evenings or early mornings, because on Saturdays, I spend time with the family or, dinner time or, so forth. But that 3 a.m. time, that's game. Can I do some work then? And then the same idea too with, early Saturday mornings or whatnot on weekends. Can I get some of those busy work out of the way so I can focus more on spending time with family? I'll hog that time up. But it's interesting you pointed it out. And I think it's one of those things we see as a result of that is because of COVID too, where things just change and it's like, oh, kind of like this. So let me do it. So
Also be on that channel that the conversations are happening about your business. So one of the things that I see, I'm in a lot of Facebook groups with our, ideal client audiences and constituents, existing clients. They sort of bring me in as an advisor. There are new clients who are in there too. So if you're part of those Facebook groups, that's a key role that no one else can play but you, is to nurture those leads, be part of the conversation. And if you have time that you can take from daytime to evening and say, these Facebook groups are really active, all throughout the day, but then the 7, 8, 9 p.m., like that's a sweet window when people are, after dinner, sitting around, playing with the kids, watching a little TV, whatever it is. They're also on Facebook and saying, hey, did you guys check out that new feature from Calendly, or my CRM does this, or I'm experimenting with Salesforce, integrating with my phone system, whatever it is. People are talking about their business systems after they've had time to process and recover from their day. So if you're going to devote your time, it's not like I'm saying, be ready to pick up the phone at 8 o'clock. But if you're going to have some work bandwidth left, as you're describing, Donald, on weekends or evenings, whatever it is, spend time in those networking groups that you're in, because that's going to make your 24/7 sort of answering service and chat service more worthwhile 24/7. It's also going to be time that no one else can spend but you in building up your business. No one can speak authoritatively the way that you can in those groups. They're still largely individual based. You can't delegate it. That's where I would spend time if you're not working sort of in your business. Work on your business to generate new leads that are really high quality, especially if you have existing clients and customers in those groups, sort of keeping an eye out for you, calling you into the conversation as an advisor. That will maintain one of the things that's also gone by the wayside during COVID, which is that networking that we normally get with in-person events and activities.
Oh man, this is gold there. That's a good point. Good little nugget there you can take and apply. Love it. My mind is racing now with some different thoughts. So all these different opportunities, possibilities are endless, everyone.
They are. And that's sort of like almost a comedy, a high class problem to have, but a problem still, right? And if you look at scheduling, to sort of get back to that for a second, the way that we help people figure out the right scheduling system is to say, look at your target audience. What systems are they currently using? Are you going to force them to download Skype in order to have a call with you? I would say hopefully not, right? Have it be a regular phone call, a Zoom call, a Google Hangout. Those are among the most popular. Make it easy. Always have a dial-in number if you're going to have a video call. Video does promote connection, obviously, and it helps with sales because you create a bond there beyond just that sort of voice over phone bond. But have sort of a backup plan. Make sure that you have a phone number for easy dial-in. And if there is any sort of process, difficult system, send them a link or a video ahead of time to say, here's what we're going to cover on our call. Here's a checklist for you to go through so you're prepared for our call and have answers that I need to help you. Whatever it is, you can have them watch a little video ahead of time if you have time for that. The other thing I'll say is that some businesses do charge for consultation. So if that call costs money, then you can integrate Calendly, for example, Acuity, Schedule Once. They have integrations with some payment systems, or you can sort of DIY. You can say, here's my invoice link, make sure that it's paid before the call. If you have a receptionist service like Smith.ai, we can actually take payment for you. All of our receptionists have signed NDAs. They have financial non-disclosure agreements on top of that so that we can take credit card information, put it directly in your system, and make sure that you're getting compensated for that call, which might be 30, 45, 60 minutes if you have very high value clients, but that sort of funnel is too dependent on the readiness of the lead that you need to be compensated for that consultation up front. Now you can credit that to the final bill or agreement if you don't want to penalize those best quality leads, which is also something that we recommend if you're charging for those consultations.
Man, you just dropped a bunch of stuff on us today. If there's one major thing out of all of this when it comes to scheduling that appointment, what's that one major piece of advice you would give?
I would say ask a couple questions ahead of time because you want to establish expertise and control. If you just schedule the appointment and you say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, we'll call you at this time, you're not establishing your position in that relationship appropriately to have that conversation go your way. You want to ask a couple questions, even if you think you know the answer, and confirm what that call is going to be about, set proper expectations, and then always be on time. There is nothing that will kill your sales like messing up your end of that consultation. So do a couple dry runs, make sure you're prepared for it, but maintain and set up that sort of scenario for your control, because they will be looking to you to guide them in that conversation. And there's nothing better for sales conversion than that.
Maddy, love it. Now, people out there are listening to this and they want to get connected with you. How do we go about doing that? How do we get them to connect with you?
So you can get started with Smith.ai. We have plans as low as 5 chats a month, 10 calls a month, up to thousands. So for any size business, go to Smith.ai, that's our website, or you can call us 650-727-6484, or just email hello@smith.ai. And Donald, for your listeners only, using the code SalesEvangelist will get them $100 off their first month.
Hey, if you're a sales rep, you listen to this, you could get some real good help and to work smarter as you're going into this year. So I appreciate this, Maddy. This is awesome. So thank you all so much. And I highly recommend you go connect with Maddy as well and the team. Appreciate the insights.
Thanks, Donald. Great to be here.
That was Maddy Martin, and if you want to go ahead and connect with Maddy, you can find all the information. Just scroll down below. If you're watching this on TSE TV, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, or wherever, please scroll down. You'll see some information in the cover on the show notes there. You can click on the cover art on Apple Podcasts, and you can see some information in the below. We want to give you the key information, like the critical stuff that you need. We don't need you to read through a book, so we succinctly put it together for you so you can be more effective. And so you can be more effective when it's all said and done. As always, we share stuff like this because we want to help you. We want your team to thrive and succeed. I want you to test out the team over, Maddy's team over at Smith.ai, and see some of the great things that they're doing. You can also check out our sponsors. Our sponsors are they're giving away free stuff, man, when it comes down to it. They're giving you free trial. They're giving you opportunities. They're giving you offers. Just test them out. Try it. As always, I share stuff like this because I want you to succeed. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. Beyond that, I want you to know what to say when you actually reach out to them. I want you to be able to close more deals. As always, I want you to go out each and every single day, have that growth mindset, and do big things. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.